So just coming to your mat. I'm going to start in butterfly. So the feet will be together, knees are out to the side. And just a really relaxed position. You might want to just check that the crown of the head is to the sky and your back is nice and straight. And you can just gently start to open out through the hips here. You could do this with your eyes open or your eyes closed. You might like to think of a butterfly as it's unfurling its wings from a chrysalis. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's pretty magical. They wriggle their hips around a little, their wings around a little, so you could wriggle your hips around a little. And then when they start to dry their wings, they draw their wings in and out. And we can pretend these are the butterfly wings. Just thinking of that butterfly as you're moving, breathing in, drawing your knees up, breathing out, lowering down, breathing in, drawing up, breathing out, lowering down. And you might want to just open through the soles of the feet. Just sometimes you can get the feet all the way open, other times we don't have that much rotation in our ankles, and it's fine. We're just interested in our bodies and how they feel today. As you exhale, you might like to come forward and just deepen that stretch. Wriggle that out. Soften into that. Nice deep breaths here. Again, breathing up and breathing out, coming down. You could loosen off through the head, neck and shoulders. You can feel into the hips, but also just have that sense of easing out through different parts of the body. Remember, sometimes we have tension in one part of our body or one part in our lives. We don't have to generalize it to all areas or all parts. And then letting that go. So just before the butterflies fly away, you'll notice that they do this little fluttering. So they're really getting their wings ready to go. In yoga, all the postures we do come from observations in nature. Okay, so in the warm-up on day one, you'll see we did this stretch. So just to remind you, we did that one. So you do that again if you wanted to. So you could do that one again. Go back to day one to have a look at that. Otherwise, we'll come on over onto our hands and knees. And it can be quite a simple one if you've been sitting during your day to just sway the back. You could take really big hip circles where you're coming all the way forward and back and just easing off. From here, we're coming to lizard. So in our lizard pose, we're going to take our right foot forward. Oh, I'll come this way. Our right foot forward and put it on an angle, 45 degrees. So it's here. And you can be on your hands, you can be on your knees. And then you're just going to move the weight to the outside of your foot. If you wanted to work deeper, you can lift up onto the toes and exhale. You could come down onto your forearms if you wanted to. You could be here and just breathing into that stretch. Or you could be here on your knee, which is a little bit easier. You could be here on the hands. Or you could be here on the toes. So just see what's right for you. And then from here, we come back to a neutral pose. So you could come back to your cats and cows and ease that tension off through the hips if you wanted. Or you could come back to plank. So you've got some options. We're going to change our feet. So you could change the right foot forward from table. Or if you were in plank, you could come to down dog and take the right foot forward. So I'm doing the same sequence, same thing on the opposite side. That foot's out at 45. And we're holding here, here, here or here. And just breathing into that stretch. The mind wanders, bring it back to the breath. And then drop down to the knees. Walk that right foot over and you're going to come into swan. So in the swan pose, we want to have our knee, our thigh flat on the floor. So you're wanting to have the weight on that very strong bone. You'll see that there's an openness here and you're going to start to roll that over to square up through the lower back. And you can stay here or you could come down into this position here. And breathe. Soften off through the head, neck and shoulders. Relax the jaw. Just journey with your breath. When you're ready, coming on up. So the hands are going to be nice and strong, fingers are wide, toes go under, back to down dog, and walk that out. Take the left foot forward to swan on the opposite side. Soften into that pose. So you might see some people do this posture up on their knee. It does put a lot of pressure on your knee, and I know some yoga teachers do teach it like that. There's different schools of thought on it. The way that I was taught is that you use or utilize that big strong bone to take the weight rather than the weight on your joint. And then we don't want to load too much up on the SI joints. We're rolling those bit over square. I've been practicing this for over 20 years like this, and my knees are fine and safe. It's every day for 20 years. Really. And then from here, back to down dog. Walk that out and ease it off. We're going to walk this forward into a standing forward fold and roll that up vertebrae by vertebrae, or just come down into a squat. We're going to come into the squat and meet here. So again, you can have a nice straight back. Now, not all feet or hips are designed for squatting. If they're not, come back to butterfly. And then release. We'll meet in butterfly. So we're here, softening off. Back to where we started, but you'll find that there's more movement in the hips now. Come down to the mat. I'm going to draw our knees in. Just a gentle soften out through the lower back. Take the right foot to the sky, left foot to the earth. Move the toes around in a cycle motion one way and then the other. That foot comes to the knee. The hands are going to lift around the leg, draw it in and hold. So close your eyes. Relax your jaw. And breathe. Bring your knees together. Come over into a spinal twist. The opposite arm is going out. You're going to turn your head to look over to the opposite side. Breathe here. Come back to your center. Change the feet so the right foot's on the floor, left foot's to the ceiling. And then this foot comes into the knee, draw it in. Take the stretch. Nice deep breaths. Take the knees together, come over into a spinal twist, turn the head to the opposite side. Come back to center. Massage out. Place the feet on the floor, and again coming into some pelvic tilts. You might want to roll up into a back bend, just gently, one last one. And down. From here, both the feet are going to come to the sky, bend the knees. Hands are going to come to the inside of the feet. Keep your back on the floor. So we don't want to be here. We want that whole spine on the floor. Hands on the feet, and then draw the knees down. Happy baby. Take the feet together. Knees flop out to the side. Hands come under the lower back. And support the lower back here. And reclining butterfly. Just letting the hips soften open a little more. And you could just stay here in this posture. Observing your breath. Observing the sounds that surround you. And easing into the hips. Noticing or scanning over the body, how good does this feel? You could stay there as long as you like, or otherwise taking the knees together, rolling over, and back to a seated position. Namaste. Thank you for joining me. It's been a pleasure.